I'm not here to sell you a signal, and I'm not here to sell you the dream on getting rich quick with AI. I'm not your guru. I'm here to show you something I never heard anyone put a name to before, a one-person trade desk, and I'm here to show you how to build one on your own. I'll be straight with you. I've been trading for over 7 years, and this is one of the hardest things I've ever built. But the tools to do it solo finally exist today, and that changes who gets to play. A real trading desk has 10 roles, 8 to 20 people, and costs $5 million a year to run. I'm one guy. The desk runs, and AI is the bench. That's the one-person trade desk and the whole idea behind this channel. You don't join a desk and you don't copy a guru. You build your own, and you learn to backtest and validate until you actually trust the results yourself. In this video, I'll show you all 10 roles and the structure of the one-person trade desk I built. I'll show you where to begin and how to start building your own. So let's go. Buy-side desks, prop shops, systematic CTAs, the systematic side of hedge funds, they all have the same 10 functional roles. Doesn't matter if it's two-person shop or 200. Each one is at least one real human at a trade desk, usually 2 to 3. I built a workflow for each. Some are Python, some are C++ running inside of Sierra Chart, some are Claude Code skills and sessions, and then some are checklists that I refuse to break. The premise of this channel, the one-person trade desk, is that the 10-role infrastructure is real, but the headcount isn't. Not anymore, not in 2026. So let's explore each role. So first, we would start by defining who the operator is. And in this case, it's me. I take ownership of all the actions, all the strategies deployed, all the different directions I want the different indicators to go in. I own this and I'm the main operator. So I call this the bench or the workbench, and that's Claude Code. Claude Code replaces the rest of the team, and that's the premise of the desk. And before the last few years, this wouldn't be possible without AI. So let's explore each role. First is the portfolio manager. Like I mentioned, the portfolio manager is myself. So as the portfolio manager, I'm the judgment layer. I use a mix of discretionary trading along with an automatic trading system. But to get here, I've been studying the market for the last 7 years. And from that experience, I've been able to develop pattern recognition as well as a better understanding of the markets I trade, which is specifically the NASDAQ futures market. In this role, I can't outsource to anybody else, not even Claude Code or AI. A lot of people think this might be a shortcut to just tell Claude Code, make me money with a specific strategy. But without knowing what biases there might be, you'll be spinning your wheels because you have no idea if the strategy is actually valid or has a real edge. So what does this look like? It's being able to read the market regime, whether it's bull or bear market, as well as recognize chart patterns and order flow. And finally, it's knowing when to override the system if something's wrong. So now let's move on to the next role. The next role is the quant researcher, and this is where I heavily use Claude Code. Once I've defined my edge, I'm able to perform backtest and run tons of different simulations using different parameters to see what parameters perform best in the market. With this, I've also developed a gold standard methodology to identify different biases that might happen when you're using AI to code. So this tests for anything like forward-looking biases as well as just incorrect code. The goal with this is to identify a bias before it goes live into the market. So the process for the quant researcher is to perform backtest, testing different parameters, and to do a final bias test to make sure that the strategy actually is free of any errors and biases. And in combination with the quant researcher, we also have the quant developer. So in this role, a lot of people get this part wrong, but the quant dev isn't me writing the code, but it's me describing the problem clearly in plain English so then Claude can write the code for me. I still review all the code, I run the tests, but instead of having the coding itself be the bottleneck, it's now me and defining different strategies to test. So the quant developer takes what we've done during the quant researcher step and puts it into real code. For me, this is using Sierra Chart, but you can also use TradingView and PineScript to develop code and see it live in the market. So next, after you've developed the code, you actually need to be able to execute it. And people think that developing and executing is the same thing, but you actually need an execution trader to execute on your strategies. For me, I still do discretionary trading. So I am the execution trader, but I do have signals in place to identify different setups where I can enable my automatic trader to trade for me. And identifying a strategy is one step, but being able to execute it is a whole different step in itself. Knowing whether your strategy can survive slippage and commission is something that I don't think most people have accounted for. The execution trader also has to execute trades to your system faithfully. And what this means is making sure that you can enter and exit trades the way you want. For me, one of my strategies is adding on to trades once they're in my favor. So being able to not only code the entry, but the adds and the different exits based off of your different R factors, that is where this execution trader is essential to get correct. So I created this order management pyramid. Going from research to execution, I'll be able to identify drift from what I expect to what is actually being executed. And for me, this is what it looks like in Sierra Chart Live. You can see here that I have these signal arrows that actually are indicating where I would be entering a trade here. So going from research to signals to execution is a journey in itself. So once you get to this step, now it's about managing risk. And that's what the risk manager role does. And as portfolio manager and just a human in general, one thing I really want to do is believe all the green strategies I have, but in reality, the risk manager keeps me in check. So the risk manager helps me understand all the different randomness in the market and what the chances are of the strategy going bust or being successful. One of the most popular strategies to do this is something called the Monte Carlo analysis. Basically, it takes the randomness of the market, runs it across 1,000 different simulations, and plots the equity curve of those different simulations. And with this, I'm able to stress my strategy to know what size of an account I should actually be trading with. Doing this, it won't allow me to size up more than what I define my risk to be. It also defines my circuit breakers like daily max loss, my max position, and cooldown after a loss. So here is that plot. You can see there's 1,000 plotted curves. So this shows me my cone of outcomes, which is normalized for all the different thousands of runs. And in the pink, you see the median path of what I can expect over all these different runs. Then moving on to role 6, which is operations. So for operations, you have to think of you developing a strategy as 3 distinct processes. For me, that is a Python backtest, then plotting the signals on a chart, then watching the live execution. So these 3 different layers can drift a lot. So as we're diverging, the job of operations is to catch these divergences and eliminate the gap. I'll be diving into this one in a future video, but this part is pretty challenging, especially for trading on intraday timeframes. Then moving on to performance analytics. Not only do I measure performance analytics of the automatic trading system, but I have a way to identify my discretionary trade performance as well. This is one of the first systems I built in order to better identify my bad habits and to break them as fast as possible. One of the more challenging things I faced was trying to journal and log my emotions after the fact. So what I wanted to do is eliminate that gap and to capture the trades I was taking as fast as possible. So what I did here was to build out a trading loop. So basically, as I'm trading, I'm taking voice notes inside of a web app I created. And as I'm taking these voice notes, I'm able to identify the exact market position and levels along with the indicator levels that I'm trading. And as I'm executing, I have a coach that tells me if I'm tilting or if I'm exceeding my normal size. So I have someone basically watching me over my shoulder. So then as I'm taking these notes and journaling my thoughts as I'm trading through the day, what's happening is that the notes are being connected and appended to the actual trades and prices. So with this, I'm able to see how well I'm entering, how much heat I'm taking, if I'm entering too early, too late. Basically, I can go in and ask Claude Code where my gaps are and how I can improve. And after I'm improving one thing at a time, I do the same process on other leaky things of my system. Instead of having it happen at the end of the day, it now happens instantly for me. So moving on to the next role, I have data engineering. And this is where speed is the entire game. So one of the most important things you can do if you're developing a strategy is to have really solid data. And that's why I use Sierra Chart, because with Sierra Chart, I'm able to get exact tick files, cache them, and be able to replay market data using Python. And this allows me to run multiple experiments and identify where I can improve my edge. So the role of data engineering is just to be able to make the data accessible and read as fast as possible. And next, for role 9, we have our tech infrastructure. So this is an overview of my tech stack for my automatic trading system. One of the struggles I faced was trying to be at the screen all day and trade. So instead, once I'm done trading myself, I pass it off to my automatic trading system. And with this tech stack, I'm able to copy trade across all my funded accounts. And one of the best things about Sierra Chart is this tech stack can be ran pretty much out the box. So for my automatic trading system, in this diagram, you can see I have my automatic trading system here. So it's the central engine for all of my accounts and all of my trading positions. I'm able to monitor remotely to monitor the positions and make sure that everything's executing as it should. And then finally, for the last position, we have compliance, and that is surveillance of myself. So at a real desk, this is a regulator that oversees all the traders or oversees the trading system. For me, this is the coach I was mentioning earlier. I ask myself, did I follow all my rules? Trying to break bad habits is one of the hardest things to do in trading. And it helps to have someone or something that can analyze from an unbiased position and let me know if I'm trading the way I should and where my gaps are. So this is my compliance and risk management process. I have a pre-market checklist that I need to follow and that I execute on every day to put me in the right mindset before I begin trading myself. Over time, I gathered stats and identified once I entered trades, if I entered trades in the next couple minutes, it's lower expectancy. So I forced myself to have an automatic cooldown after a loss. I also have a lock on my sizing as well. So I never increase my position side while I'm in this revenge mode. And as I'm trading, I have a check on if I'm breaking any of these rules based off of my voice notes, my tone, my trigger words, and just an overall observation of myself. All of this is logged into a database. So then I can go back at the end of the day, see how many violations I had, and see where my gaps are to improve. So those are the roles of the one-person trade desk. And someone might ask, what's changed? Why now? 3 things in the last 18 months. The first is Claude Code or any agentic LLM. You basically have a senior engineer level collaborator that can read your entire code base, run tests, ship code, and validate backtests for you. Keystrokes and writing code no longer became the bottleneck. Judgment and developing your own edge became the bottleneck. 2, fast and cheap data. My desktop is able to replay years and years of tick data through a custom engine developed by Claude Code. What used to take a whole server farm to run through the different backtests can now be run on commodity hardware and be done in minutes. 3, and this is the real one, methodology became the moat. When code generation is cheap, the edge now moves up the stack. The hard part now stops being writing the code. The hard part now becomes asking the right questions and validating the code and the results. The one-person trade desk is the answer to one question. What does it look like when one person with discipline and the leverage of AI runs all 10 roles themselves? So that's the one-person trade desk. And here's my mission and why I'm putting it on the internet today. Trading content is split between people trying to sell you signals and people trying to sell you courses. And almost nobody is teaching you how to build out and validate your own edge so you can trade with confidence instead of renting somebody else's. And that's the whole point of this channel. Learn to build, learn to backtest, learn to validate your own strategies, and learn to cut through the guru BS. And I'm not going to show you dollar per dollar track record of my edge and my P&L. This isn't a track record channel. This is a methodology channel. Every video, I'll show the real work, how the desk works, how I go from idea to validation, and how I catch how backtests lie to you. If that's the trader you want to become, there's one place to start. Sign up for the newsletter at onepersontradedesk.com. It's free and you get the methodology, backtesting, bias detection, system design, plus any free tools as they ship. This includes the starter repo. That's the front door. Eventually, I would love to build a community of like-minded traders that are leveraging AI and want to automate their edge and strategies. So if you join the newsletter, you'll be the first to know when the community opens up. I'd also love to hear directly from you on what content you would like to see. I read every reply to the newsletter and you can help shape the content of this channel. And if you want to see the methodology in action right now, there's a link to the opening range breakout video I did. I take the most popular opening range breakout strategy and run a backtest to show you how the backtest is actually lying to you. And if I can encourage you to do one thing, it's to validate and build out your own strategies. Build your own desk and follow along if you'd like to learn how. Thanks for watching.